Hey everyone, my name is Ashwin and welcome to another episode of Football Diaries. And I'm here with Adithya Jayan. So, Adithya, why don't you just give us an introduction about yourself, where you play, where you're from, and the age group as well, and the position? Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm Adithya Jayan. I'm from Bangalore. I live in Jalahari, and I play in the age group under 14, and then I play as a striker for Kickstart.
All right, perfect, perfect. So, Adithya, so you're playing the under 14 age group. So, when did you first start playing football, and what was your first memory?
My first memory of football was, I guess, when I was in school. There's this club called Juno Sports that come to our school, and then that's where I actually started playing football. So that's my first memory of playing football.
And how old were you that time?
I don't know. Like it was in 2014, so I guess 8 or 9,
Eight
something
or
like
nine
that.
years old. So that means you've not been playing football for too long. I would say max of like 6 years for
Yeah,
some,
yeah,
and you're 13 years old, right?
yeah.
Yeah, and all right, Aditya. So now, of course, you have played against players who have played football before you. They must have started when they were six. They must have started when they were five.
Yeah.
So, like I said, they must have started when they were five. They must have started when they were six. So, how was it that when you initially started playing against players who were playing before?
Initially, it was a bit scary because they were physical, and when I started up, I wasn't playing that physical because starters are like that. So then eventually, my coaches and everyone told me to play bold, no matter how many years they played ahead of me. But so then I started playing boldly. It was better.
All right, and was it that you were playing with players older than you that it had an impact on you?
Yes. First, I thought playing with players who are older than me would be really challenging and difficult, and I should avoid that. But uh, through the course of time, I learned that it's better to play with the people who are older than me because they pose a better challenge, and you learn a lot of things. You know.
All right, all right. So yeah, so let's talk about that environment you were in, right? So because a lot of players would run away from that environment, and a lot of players would feel a bit scared because when you are older, it's not just about physique as well, but it's that mental environment that they go through. Because you're older, they get more competitive. Sometimes over competitiveness comes into play, and you feel very small because you're not that good, maybe, or you're just initially starting out. So could we go through that experience that you initially had?
Yeah. Initially, like I said, it was pretty scary because they initially had a lot of experience, physique, and everything. Like they had a lot of things that I lacked. So the main thing was experience. Like when I used to get on the field, it was very like I was filled with nervousness, and then it was very difficult for me to even stand in front of them on a field. Then eventually I got used to it, and then it worked out.
All right, and like you said, initially when you went in, you were anxious and you were nervous, right? And
Yeah.
how did that change over time? Was it because of experience, or was it because a coach helped you, or was it because you started understanding football or watching football, or was it all of these factors?
It was actually all of those factors because even my coaches kept telling me to go and play with elder people, and the like those people actually helped me. Like people who were actually playing against me, they also sometimes used to give me tips and all that. So it was nice.
So it was more or less like they nurtured you as well to come up and get through the ranks and become a better player as well, right?
Yes.
All right. So now let's talk about your initial journey. You're just starting out as a footballer. Your initial journey. So where did you start playing football? What was your first team? And you're playing in Kickstart. So how did you end up at Kickstart?
First, like I said, it started in school with a club called Juno Sports, and then I started. Then I was playing for them. Then I was thinking about going for trials to play for I League and all that. But then every time there were trials, I used to be out of station or I used to have exams or something like that. It didn't work out, and then I kept improving through time, and then one day I just decided to go for kickstart trials in JP Nagar. So I went there, and then I play like there were like 5 to 6 trials, and then eventually I was pretty nervous because I didn't know if I would get selected, but I was confident.
Yeah.
And one day I got a call that I was selected, and it was pretty nice. It was
Or so and so now you want to kickstart. So let's talk about the coaches that you've had throughout your line, right? So can we talk about some of the experiences you've had with them and moments where someone must have helped you technically, someone must have helped you emotionally. So could we go through those moments, especially from an emotional
yeah,
point of view?
yeah. I've had a lot of coaches who've influenced me in many ways, and most of those coaches like no longer coach me, but I still remember them because they've had a huge impact on my career. And the first set of coaches that I've ever had, and they're still with me, are from Juno Sports. And then through the course of time, I've had a lot of coaches, and they actually influence me in such a way that that fear and nervousness that I have when I get onto the field is completely gone. So that's a huge factor.
All right, perfect, perfect. So now, like, so Aditya, as you know, you are a student athlete. So that's because, like, of course, you are going through your academics in school, and you're an athlete outside. So could we talk about how the mix, where how difficult it is, and the lifestyle that you have to go through in order to make sure that both are intact, that you're able to keep up with your studies, and at the same time you're able to keep up with the professional side as well.
Yeah, actually, it was difficult, but then eventually I coped up with it, and it was with the help of my parents, and even my coaches used to tell me when I used to come only go for training, and then they thought that I should also pay attention to my studies. And my teachers in school, they also helped me. My principal, they cooperated, and then they actually pushed me, and then they told me how I can manage both of them together.
All right, perfect. So, like you said, you're trying to manage as well. So, could we talk about the social side because you are 14. I mean, you're just getting to that teenage lifestyle or that teenage, I would say, cycle of your life. And this is a time where, for most people, they want to be with their friends and they want to, hang out with their mates. And could we talk about the sacrifice that you have to make because you can't do all of them. You can't, be with your mates, spend time with your mates, make sure your academics are going well, and keep a more disciplined cycle in your life to make sure that your football is going well as well. So, how could we talk about that sacrifice you have to make?
Yeah, there are actually a lot of sacrifices because you have to devote your time towards studies and training, because you won't be able to improve unless you like work on it and put a lot of time. So if I talk about sacrifices, there are a lot, like hanging out with friends, having just the calls, going out with friends, and all of that. There are a lot of times, even spending time with relatives, parents, and all of those things have to be sacrificed. So
Yeah. So, I mean, looks like from a young age, you know that if you really want to move forward and you want to take this streamline of a career, sacrifices have to be made, right? All right,
yeah.
perfect, perfect. Now, Aditya, now you said that you were a striker, if I'm not wrong. So, could we talk about, like, is it a position that you started off with, or was it that okay, you started off somewhere and then you kind of got the knack for it? How do you start off playing football? Like, were you a defender? And yeah, could we go through that journey and as to why and how you became a striker?
I started off as a striker, but then in between, like when I was playing for Juno Sports, like I think for around 2 3 years, I was playing as a defender because it was five-a-side. So because of my height and shooting ability, so that was good. So it was good for clearing the ball and my physique. So I was playing as a defender, but main attributes that I had were perfect for a striker: shooting ability, clinical finishing, agility. All of these are good for a striker. So that's why I'm a striker.
And yeah, and was there a coach that made sure that he trusted in you to be a striker? Because sometimes what happens is some coaches might have a different idea for you, and you might follow that idea, right? So was there a coach where he looked at you as a striker and said, "All right, you know what? I'm not going to change what you are. You're going to be a striker."
It's actually not one coach. All my coaches at Juno Sports, Sajay sir, Sam sir, Jeffrey sir, all of these people believed in me that I could be a better striker compared to all the other positions that I played, because they believed in my attributes, and they knew that I can become a really good striker. So here I am playing as a striker.
Yeah, yeah, perfect. And now let's look at the influence of your parents, right? So, I mean, I always believe that for any athlete, doesn't matter whether you're playing football or it doesn't matter if you're in a track team, any athlete that wants to move forward and that really wants to push this as a career, their parents are their biggest backbone. And I always believe that it's better to have the parents supporting you than going on your own and trying things out on your own. And could we talk about the support that they have given you, and how difficult it is for them as well, because even they have to make sacrifices as well, right?
Yeah, parent support is a really major factor, because if they don't actually, even they have to make a lot of sacrifices with us. They like, if they don't really pay attention to us, then they can just do whatever they want. But if they support us, there's a lot of things like we can do. So my parents support me for football always. They've never told me not to play football or anything. So their support is actually made a huge impact.
All right. Yeah. So that's what. So like, even they have made their sacrifices as well, right? So I'm guessing like, so what time does your training start? You, what time does your training start? I'm sorry, even I can't hear you. One second. Okay, am I audible now?
Yeah. Now can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. My training now, currently I can't go for training.
Adithya, you're muted. You're muted. Yeah. No, just unmute and mute again. No, no, no. Yeah, go.
Yeah. So what was the last question? I couldn't hear you.
So we're talking about the sacrifices that your parents have made, and like what time does your training start as well?
Yeah, currently I can't go for training because of COVID. But before, I used to go for training right after my classes at around 4 or 4:30, and then I used to come back at around 7:30, and then that was a lot of time because morning I had classes.
Yeah, yeah, and right after that, you'll have to go finish it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
have
I mean,
to
there are
rush.
sacrifices to be made. All right, and the fine thing. So like, so how are you going to pursue this way? Like, are you going to what is something that you want to focus more? Are you going to focus more on your physical side, or do you want to focus more on the technical side? And could we go through like, how do you think you're going to make a pathway for yourself to improve and go into this lifestyle?
Actually, there are a lot of things I still have to improve on. My physique is still on the side of improvement, but like I can. There's a lot of improvement needed, and then technical. Yeah, that's also that also needs improvement. So I guess I could say that it's still not perfect or anything. I have a lot of things to improve on.
All right, perfect, perfect. And the final thing, and so it's more on, do you, so Alti, what are your plans for the future? Are you looking to move into this? Are you looking to be a footballer? And could we speak about your aspirations for yourself for the future?
Yeah, I would love to continue and take this career as my like to the future, but I'm not really sure. So we can't really tell what happens in the future. But I would love to take this as
All right,
a
perfect,
career,
perfect.
and
Anyway,
if I
yeah,
can't, then I would love to do something
in related to sports
for football. Yeah.
or in football. All right, perfect, perfect. Anyway, thank you so much, Aditya. This was a pleasure. I'll see you soon. Yeah, cheers.